and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today do at Enterprise Rent a Car and what we can offer you as a current student and soon to be graduate. So let's get started by telling you a little bit about the company. We are obviously an international company. We were founded in America and we currently operate in many, many more countries now, just topping at around 100 countries now. We do have an annual revenue of $24 billion, even after COVID. We have 100,000 employees. We have 2 million vehicles and 10,000 locations. I just want to touch on that 2 million vehicle point because I am very, very much aware that 2 million vehicles creates a lot of pollution. But I'd just like to let you know that we do a lot in sustainability as well. We make sure that we are financially investing in biofuels. We invest in fleets of vehicles that do not pollute the environment, and we do a lot to offset in other ways as well. When we were founded in 1957, we were set up by one guy who had a bit of a dream, and it was literally the American dream that he would make a success of himself. And his mentality was to look after people, whether that be employees or whether that be customers. Ultimately, a business can't be successful without either of those things. We still live true to the values that were set up back then, and that's represented here. You can see that these all centre around people. They centre around making sure that our business is doing the right things, that we have our doors open, whether that be to our customers or within the business to senior managers. We have a mentor program, which means that every employee in our business has an assigned mentor, but we also make sure that people feel comfortable to approach people that they would like to mentor them as well. We listen to each other. We know that the CEO doesn't have all of the best ideas. So once you come into our business, you get a voice, and that voice might well come up with our next USP. You never know. So we really do value people from day one. We strengthen our communities. As I've just mentioned, we don't just take care of sustainability, we make sure that we look on a wider scale as well. So we do a lot of give and gain. We have a lot of charitable donations that we give out to the local communities, whether that be that a team of 10 people go and paint a fence in a local school. It doesn't matter. If we can give back, we do. We've won a lot of awards for what we do as well, in many different things. For social mobility, for diversity, for our graduate scheme, for our placement programme. We've also won Times Top 50 places that women want to work for 15 years consecutively now. And again, we don't just do those things to win those awards, but it's very nice when we are recognised. So a little bit about the technical side and the avenues that are available if you come and join us at Enterprise Rent a Car. So the opportunity initially with us is in a graduate management trainee position. However, that opens a lot of doors outside of the Enterprise Rent a Car brand. So you may not know, but we own another couple of rental brands called Alamo and National. We operate those very, very regularly in our more tourist locations, so airports and train stations. So if you were to work for us, it gets very, very interesting in those locations because those customers do demand very different service and you really do master your customer service skills in those locations. We also have Enterprise Car Club. Enterprise Car Club is hopefully a provision that you've heard of because you can use it from the age of 19. So students are one of our biggest markets for this. The reason that we have Car Club is because it's a very flexible opportunity for people to access vehicles. So we don't just want to be a rental brand, we want to be a full transport solution, and Enterprise Car Club fits lovely into that. We also have an exotics range. So we have some glamorous vehicles, sort of your Lamborghinis and your Bentleys, your Ferraris. We don't allow the general public to rent those as some companies might, simply because of the underlying cost with them. We give our store managers the autonomy to run things the way that they want to and therefore earn money off the way that they run it as well. So I'm sure you can appreciate if you had a Lamborghini sat there doing nothing for a year, it would cost you quite a lot of money. The final thing that we have under our remit is Enterprise Flexi Rent. So the other side of this spectrum here, your slightly less glamorous vehicles, shall we say, and you won't have seen that many of them looking this way, but we do have the UK's largest lease fleet now, and typically they don't look like this because they are in the company livery. So there's a lot of very, very well-known brands that you will see on the road every single day where the vehicle is actually owned by Enterprise. Some of them actually being the NHS because we do rent ambulances as well as standard vehicles as well. So why does this matter to you? Well, hopefully you're here to hear about the things that we can offer. The first big thing that I want to just emphasize is that with Enterprise, you don't need to relocate to have a successful career. We have opportunities throughout the UK and Ireland that mean that you can join a really, really successful graduate management trainee programme and move into a management role quickly on your doorstep. We don't force you to relocate further down the line either. We have people that have stayed in one town or city for their whole career and still been incredibly successful. You very much choose your path at Enterprise. If at some point it interests you to go further afield within the UK or even over to Europe or across to the US, support you in that, but you're not forced. So the main thing that we have running at the moment is our graduate management trainee programme. Like I've already said, it is award-winning and it's extremely established. So within our business, you would have training in all areas of business. That will be sales, marketing, finance, fleet logistics, customer service, risk, operations. There's pretty much everything that you need to know to run a business. We don't believe that it's the right thing to do to close our doors and send you off for a training period in one of these locations, though. We think it's right for you to learn on the job, the same way that your predecessors have. So that's what happens. From people around you, people who've been through the same training programme and can support you and have the knowledge that you need. So every single day is a school day. That's not all you do, though. You're not sat book learning for that amount of time. You are in a rental branch, so you are in a customer-facing, fast-paced environment. So there's loads going on to challenge you constantly. I've already mentioned the fact that you get mentors as well. So you tend to have support around you from the people that have gone through the programme before you, but you also have this mentor that I mentioned. And that is somebody maybe like myself, who's been through the graduate management trainee programme and they know what you need to know, but they now have the time to give you some attention and really nurture you through that. So it's somebody outside of your branch and area network. With us, it is super, super quick progression. So we start on 21,000 salary, but there are bonuses available on top of that as well. And usually when people have been with us for around a year, they're already assistant managers. At that point, you start earning money based off the performance of the office that you run. So if you really break the mold, if you find new ways of doing things and new efficiencies within the business, you will get paid for that. So if you put in the hard work, it pays in your pocket. Normally within 2 years of joining us, people are branch managers, and it really is up to you after that point. The reason we say that is because 97% of our current workforce started through the graduate management trainee programme, and that includes our CEO. So you can imagine the number of opportunities that are available to you to progress into. We also have management internships. Now, these are your 12-month sandwich placements that most students now get the opportunity to take up. That is a £19,500 salary, which is around £2,000 higher than the UK average. And you get exactly the same exposure to business and training that our graduates get. So you have the opportunity to learn everything to do with business in a really fast-paced, hands-on environment during your placement programme. It's brilliant for students who are really forward-thinking, because ultimately you go through our graduate management trainee programme on your placement and return as a graduate, you leapfrog everybody else. You don't start on the training again, you've done that. So usually within a couple of months of graduating, people who've done our placement are in an assistant manager's role. On occasion, we have had people actually get to branch manager before graduation. So it really is up to you what you do with that opportunity. And again, you get all of the other opportunities that the graduates get. So you do get a mentor assigned to you. You get the opportunity to get into an assistant manager's role before you even return to university for your final year. And you get all of the first-hand experiences. So this is really just a snapshot of what our standard career path looks like. As you can see, we do start at the management trainee. Now, whether that is a graduate management trainee or the internship trainee programme, it's the same thing. Like I've said, normally that programme is done within 12 months, and when you graduate from that, you become a management assistant. It's normally a very short-lived role here because ultimately now you are eligible for promotion. And so a few weeks, month or so later, people are assistant managers. After assistant manager, normally around 12 months, like I've mentioned, branch manager. And then other areas of the business start to open to you. Our support mechanisms, like HR, like sales, like forecasting, have all come through the standard path. We don't think that you can support a business unless you understand a business. So it's really important that you do that training first. If you decide to stay in a linear path, the next step would be area manager, which usually is achieved in around 6 years of joining us. Group rental manager is after that. Then regional vice president. Remember, we are an American company, so we use the presidential terms, but ultimately it's basically a regional director. And then onwards and upwards from there. This slide does stop at vice president and general manager, but obviously we do go a lot further than that. So if you look to apply to Enterprise, you need to head to our website. I've put a URL link in the chat box for this presentation, and I would love for you to give me your details. That way I can connect you with the opportunities before they become available. On our website currently, we have around 50% of our positions listed. Once you've done the online application, it would be vetted by somebody from our candidate management team. And then if successful, you would move through to a virtual interview with that team. If successful at that point, we then get you into the branch, and that is where you now have the final interview with us. Going back 6 months, we had a 5-stage recruitment process at Enterprise, but we decided to consolidate it and make it a bit easier for you. So, online application, you can stand out very, very easily by just going through our competencies, analysing your own experiences, and letting us know what you bring to the table. Virtual interview, it will be a video interview, an interactive one, so you're not sat with a blank screen and questions. You do have a person at the other end of that screen, so you get to interact and ask all the questions that you would like to as well. I can't emphasise enough, Enterprise think it's really, really important for us to be transparent and to share with you exactly what it is that we're looking for so that you can make an educated decision as to whether it's right for you. That will take part in the virtual interview. That's where you get to start asking questions. That final stage that I've mentioned, the branch visit, is where you get to experience it for yourself. We don't bring you in to a specific branch on a specific day because it's polished and it's shiny and it's immaculate and it will go perfectly. Real things happen in our stores, and so you'd experience that too. On the final stage interview, you always get to meet the area manager, which is a fantastic insight into the business as well. As mentioned, our area managers have been right through the process, so they can give you a lovely overview of what they've done. I've just mentioned our competencies there. So again, in the interest of transparency, this is what we're looking for. Really, really simple, soft skills. Leadership, flexibility, customer service, teamwork, work ethic, resilience, and communication. Simple. Cannot emphasize enough the need for you to sit down and do some self-reflection, to think about the experiences that you've had inside of university, think about how they relate to these competencies, and also think about what you've done outside, whether that be a part-time job. You might not think that working in a bar will give you the skills that you might need to move into a graduate management role, but it might. Think about the societies that you've been linked with at university, and think about any volunteering experiences that you've had also. If right now you can't think of any of those things that might tick the box, you've still got time to go and get some. Got a few top tips for you, and this is for Enterprise and for all virtual interviews out there. So if you are coming in to a virtual interview, the first thing that you must do is check your technology. You don't want to lose signal halfway through. Make sure it works. If it doesn't work for you, go back to the employer and ask for a different platform. They'll be obliging, I'm sure. Dress to impress. Remember that it is a job interview. Don't wear a hoodie or don't turn up with a towel on your hair having just got out of the shower. Believe you me, and it doesn't stand the people in good stead. Stage your background, and I don't mean that you need to go out and buy a screen or, move into an office, but just make sure that there isn't too much going on behind you, as you can see behind me today. Quite plain, doesn't really detract your attention from me. Avoid distractions. Unplug your doorbell. Put your phone on silent. Turn off your email on your laptop. These things can all ruin your flow and stop you from getting the job. Use open body language. Again, as you can see from me, I'm leaning forward, I'm leaning into the camera. Try not to animate too much with hands because that can become distracting, but certainly open body language, leaning in. Take notes where appropriate. You might think that this is a little bit strange, but if you come to an interview with a pen and paper, even if you don't use it, it means that once the employer sees that, and if they do give you any facts to take away, you're prepared. And then the final really lovely about virtual interviews is you've got the advantage that I cannot see what's going on behind your screen. I had a virtual interview not too long ago for a promotion with Inside Enterprise, and I had notes all over the wall behind the screen. No one can see them. You're hurting nobody. Take the situation to your advantage. Face-to-face interviews, not too much dissimilar there. Make sure you dress to impress. Ensure in this environment that you've asked any relevant questions with regards to COVID measures. You don't want to go storming in there and break all of the rules. They should tell you, but they might not. So if you aren't told, ask. Use non-verbal body language as well as verbal communications. It's easier to do that in a face-to-face setting. And engage with the environment. If it's a very corporate, formal environment, respond accordingly. If, like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we want to have a bit of fun while we're there, feel free. And it's that simple, guys. So like I've said, I've popped a tiny URL in the chat room. Please do link with me and give me your details. If you have specific locations that you're interested in or other roles that you want to talk about, let me know. And you can link with me on LinkedIn. I've put down our Facebook tab for you there and my Twitter as well. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have today. So if there is anything, please do feel free to pop it into the chat room.